It's tiny, it's toony, in fact, it's just a little bit loony. In fact, no, that's not true. It's not tiny and toony, it's tiny and epic. And you've seen these games, tiny, epic, fill in the blank. Today, we're looking at Tiny Epic Quest. A lot of game inside of this box right here, so let's find out what Tiny Epic Quest is all about, how you play it, and come back up and think about what the final thoughts are on this game right now. So, Tiny Epic Quest. There's a lot of game in this little box. For instance, in here alone, you might think, well, how big of a game can it be? I mean, it is a tiny game, right? Now, I'm going to treat you like I was to the Tiny Epic series. I have not played any of them. I've only heard about them, and I've only heard good things about them, right? I've really only heard that. But I've always heard, yeah, but they're really not that tiny or epic once you start playing them. And that's not really what I'm here to talk about today, right this minute. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but right now, let's talk about how much game is in fact inside of this box after all, and what you do. Let's talk about the setup of the game. First of all, the setup is here. Everyone will get these 3 meeples of your player choice. You will also start with one of these 3 each. The shield, the rod, the sword, item meeples. These item meeples are pretty awesome because they fit into the little notches on your meeples. Fantastic stuff, right? Then you will also set out the map in this such a way to where there are this configuration. The 4 castles go in these corners, and then you put the rest of the cards out. You then will also put these 4 movement type or 4 or 5 movement types out there. That would be walking, stream, the raft, griffin, foot, horse. So those are the 5 different ways to walk. You will then put out the quest cards. These quest cards would be things like movement quest or treasure quest. You put out 3 of those and put the deck face down. You also put the goblins on the board, set up the rest of the tracks, and that's the game setup pretty much. On your turn, you will, and it's the same way no matter what, there will be 4 of these types of actions. On the day phase, you're going to pick a way to move. And that would be, let's say you did movement by foot. Well, then you can move one of your meeples to any space around the square or the card that you're standing on at that moment. Then, in turn order, everyone else can use your movement type. That will happen until 4 movement types have been chosen, no matter what the player count is. So in 2 players, it'd be every other person. 3 players, it's 1, 2, 3, 1. And 4 players, it's obviously 4. That's how the game is played in the day phase. Now, there are a few things that will happen in the day phase that if you were to, for instance, take certain actions, then you will get certain things. But the night phase is when the real action happens. This is when the press your luck actions start to occur. You actually take this, and it becomes a dice tray in here. You're going to roll, if you choose to adventure, you're going to roll the dice. The dice have these symbols on them here. You have the take damage symbol, the gain power symbol, the conjure symbol, the torch, the scroll, the attack goblins. On your turn, you're going to choose if you want to continue to adventuring or if you want to rest. If you want to rest, this is how you're able to actually complete certain quests and gain spells and things like that. But if you choose to adventure, you can continue to attack goblins, you can continue to gain power and earn spells, you can continue to move further into your temple to hopefully gain some better items. What you do is you roll all 5 dice. You then count up the symbols. You do these first 3 first. So, and this is how it happens. If you roll, let's just say 3 of these take damages and 2 other things, you'll take the first damage, the person to your left will take the next damage, and the person to the next left will take the next damage. If they're still playing. If they're rested, obviously they won't take that damage. Same thing with gain power. You'll take 1, they'll take 1, they'll take 1. You'll also, this one is a little bit different because everyone shares this track. So that magic track moves up. Then, in any order, everyone gets to share your rolled torches, scrolls, or attack goblins. So you might think that you're going to be the one who gets to kill a goblin and no one else does. Well, if everyone's still out there playing, you're all going to be on the same space, technically, as that goblin. So everyone's going to defeat a goblin at the same time because you're all sharing these symbols. That's how the night phase works. If you choose to rest, and you're on the last space of the temple, or you have the prerequisites to earn a spell, you'll get those, you'll take your meeples, put them all, the ones that are applicable, not the Mushroom Grotto, and not ones, I think that's it, not the Mushroom Grotto, and not on someone else's castle. And you'll take them and you'll go back to your castle if you choose to rest. Now, if you get killed, or if you're exhausted, I should say, everybody goes back to the middle, to your castle, even if you're not all the way to the end of the temple track. So it's a good way to press your luck and hopefully get out there and hopefully get more torches to move up that track to get better items. But the danger is, if someone keeps rolling damage, even not you, you might get exhausted and have to go back. The game ends after 5 rounds. Count up the points, see who has the most points from either the treasure quest or this track. Actually, it's a track right here. It's the person who has spells. It's not necessarily the most, but you count your spells, you count your amount of quests, and you count your amount of goblins. You fall into these ranges and get those points. Obviously, you want to get up here higher, and then all of your legendary items are worth 4 points each. That is how you play Tiny Epic Quest. Let's talk about what it actually means as far as how we like it right now. The question in, though, is it any good? Just because it's tiny, just because it's epic, and it's also a quest, is it any good? And yes, it is a very good game. I really enjoy this game. It is not as good with 2 players, though. The player count needs to be a little bit higher. Not necessarily. You might still enjoy it as 2 players, but the anger issue that happens in a 2-player game is much higher than it would be in a 4-player game, because there's only one person who's causing you issues. If you're getting attacked, it's because only one other person. So in a 2, 3, 4-player game, it kind of spreads that animosity out a little bit. But it's a really fun game. I like how the mechanics are tight. The daytime, the movement is fantastic. The nighttime phases, how you earn things. Obviously, the item equals are amazing. So I really can't say enough good things about this. It's just fun, the fact that it all packs down really tight into this. But it feels like a full game. It absolutely feels like a full questing type of game. So excellent job, Gameling Games. Really big fan of this one. And I want to see more of these tiny epic games now. My appetite is peaked. I don't know what the word is for that, but really excited about things to come. Zombies was announced, Mechs was announced. Those all sound fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on those. But go check out Tiny Epic Quest. I really like it, and I think you will too. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower with the latest retro. Until next time, I'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.